Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are live again for another live stream. We have now got the late vibes and some big news tonight came through. And we're going to discuss it with my brothers in the building. The Tuesday late vibes crew. We got Brian, Elite Pundit. What are you saying, Brian? You good?
Yeah, very good, very good. Some really good transfer news today, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. Big up to my guy Omar from NYC. What are you saying, man?
We're chilling, fam. Chilling, fam. How's it going, bro? A nice
man.
sunny day in New York. How's it over there by you? Is it sunny?
You know what? Not too bad, Not too bad. Not too bad.
It's about 100 degrees over here, so it's pretty hot over
here. Yeah. I'm gonna be in LA in July, so you know what I'm saying? We're gonna chop it up over there, man. You know
the big all of them.
Come on. We here, man. Big up, man. We got Yaba in the building. United Gender. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, great, man. It was nice today, by the way. It was about 20 degrees in London. It's always grim up north where Saeed lives.
Yes.
It always rains in Manchester.
Yes.
So there's a big difference. But yeah, it's nice and sunny in London today.
No, sunny in it.
Sunny
in it.
Bro, it's about 90 degrees in NY, bro. I dragged it, of course, obviously, by 10 degrees. It's not that real, bro.
Yeah.
Humans take everything,
Yeah.
too specific. Estrella, where you at? You in London too?
Yeah, London.
Yeah, you on mute, cuz.
Your sound's not on. Oh shit. Atletico Madrid turned down again.
Estrella, we can't hear you.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, big up Estrella, big up Ange, you hear us as well? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, can hear you.
Estrella's cool.
Bro, it's the coldest day of the year in Melbourne, bro.
Yeah, it's not
1 degrees.
1 degrees, damn, man. I don't feel for you, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know, bro. My feet are cold, bro.
Oh, it's really cold in Australia?
Yeah, it's 1
man,
degree.
it's their winter. So when we have
it doesn't
summer,
get colder than it doesn't get colder than this.
Yeah. So when Omar, so we have our summer, they have their winter. Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, man. Big up, man. Big up. We got over 500 in the building. Smash a like on the video. We got some important news to tell you. That is Joshua Zirkzee. Manchester United exploring deal for Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee. It says interest advance and dialogue with strikers camp. 23-year-old among multiple options. No club-to-club talks yet, but Manchester United considering approach and are aware of the 40 million euros buyout clause in the contract. Chat to me, guys. Are you excited? Are you... What are we saying, man? What's everyone saying about this?
Hey, Saeed, do me a favor. Keep that picture up. I'm just studying this hairstyle. I mean, I've seen it in the 80s. You didn't see
yeah.
Has he straightened his hair, or is that his natural style?
Natural.
That's natural. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think this is where I'll get disappointed. He was playing in Dutch football prior to this, and no one scouted him to say, yeah, he was something. He had to go to a club in Serie A for people to realize that he's a good player. What is the purpose of scouts if you can't recognize? You could stop a move straight direct to Bologna or wherever and just get him direct. I just don't understand what the scouts doing. They let these players go on and say, oh, he does play well because he played in another league now, and now we're gonna have to pay 40 million. How much did they pay for him, Bologna? Can't be much. But yeah, interesting player. I'd like to know more about him from the panel because I don't know if he's down the middle or does he play wide. What is his main role? I've heard a lot of talk about him, but I'm not too familiar with his style of play.
But so he plays down the middle. He's a striker. He plays down the middle. So I would say his profile is kind of like, Martial's, Cunha's, those kind of link-up players. He's 6'4". I know people will say I like talking about height, but he's 6'4" and he likes dribbling. He's very good on the ball. Very good in tight spaces. Very technically good. Very technically good player. So I do think this is a deal that United will push for because of the price. The price fits in with what Ineos want to go for. That release clause is very tasty. It's about £35 million.
Nice.
So it's a great price if United can get the deal. And the only thing that was holding up the deal in the first place with AC Milan was the fact that they weren't really willing to deal with the agent. It seems like the agent wants to pay a huge agent fee.
Awful agent, man.
So I would say the one thing I will with this new Ineos well, hopefully recruitment plan is that they'll be willing to deal with the agents and pay this kind of money, because that's what Chelsea do. People wonder why Chelsea get deals done. Look at the amount they've spent on agent fees in the last year plus. They spend a lot of money on agent fees, more than anyone else in the Premier League. I think maybe Manchester City might be, maybe City as well. So United are maybe like much lower down that list, and that's something that's carried over since even when Sir Alex Ferguson was here. So hopefully we do the deal, because at the end of the day, the agent fees is chump change for United. It's not a lot of money. You know, we get the deal done, get the player in, so we can have him for preseason. Obviously, I would have liked Cunha, but the profile is so similar where I'm not upset at the deal. I think it's a good deal all around, so if we can get it done.
Saeed, I'm a Bologna fan, and I promise you, he's special. Remember, I don't know if you remember Tevez, his old agent. Remember, he was so bad in the way he was trying to get Tevez away from the football club, and that's why Fergie didn't like him. You know, and he's
remember they did the West Ham deal. The West Ham deal
Yes.
from Tevez and was it Mascherano? Was it
Mascherano? Yeah.
It was, and it was weird. It was set up really weird, and this guy's dodgy. But
it's about money.
The devil to get.
Yeah, it's about money. That's at the end of the day, it's about money.
I don't get it.
So it's the game of agents, though. You got to go in there and get
so,
your chicken. You know, you got to go really get your money. It's really what it is.
So if you've got a $40 million release clause, how does the agent fee work? Do you obviously you don't pay on top of that, do you? You just pay the release clause, don't you?
So
I'm not sure.
You have to reach an agreement with the player before. That's typically how you should go for transfer. You reach an agreement with the player. You can go either way. It really depends on the club, right? It's kind of in flux. Sometimes you have to go through the club first and get an agreement with the club before you speak to the player. But for this particular situation, because there's a release clause, it seems you have to get an agreement with the player first before you speak to Bologna and say, hey, we have an agreement with the player.
About the agent fees. I'm talking about the portion. So if you've got a $40 million release clause,
it comes out the cut.
How do they decide?
It comes out the cut of the.
Yeah, but how do they decide how much? Why is that an issue? You just pay the $40 million.
It could be in his contract.
Yeah, contract. That's
it. Could be a contractual thing whereby with the agreement with the player to have gone to Bologna, if he was going to get sold, this agent has to pay this. You know, there's no way of really knowing why that's the case, but I think it's a contractual thing, and I think that's why AC Milan have stalled on the deal for the last 3 weeks or so.
Facts. 100%.
But
100%.
he was a prospect though for a while now, because I couldn't. I'm not because I could have sworn. I remember when he used to play for Bayern, and he was coming up in the Bayern Munich ranks, and he was like a hot prospect being a young kid, and also that. But I know he did some stints at Anderlecht and like clubs like that, but I think loan seasons. But his rate, the big move was Bologna for him, because he really wasn't getting that much burn over obviously the front three that they had at Bayern. So he would, and also at the time he was also very young. So that Bologna move, he was still a player on the map since he was a young buck. You get what I'm saying? Like since he was young and in the game, it wasn't like this is a surprise transfer. But Bologna themselves did have a dazzling season last season.
Bro, amazing.
To be fair, it's something very different that he will offer that we kind of need, especially if you're gonna play with if you got Højlund in. But it still worries me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still a little worried, just because Thiago Motta ball is very different.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. Thiago Motta ball is very different. Thiago Motta ball is very different than Erik ten Hag ball. And it's like, okay, if this is your backup, I think it's you're bringing a 23-year-old to be a backup player to a 21-year-old or whatever the case may be. Like how are you going to use him? And he plays very, very much of a false nine, other than we have Højlund, who plays as a direct striker. So it's like, and if you look in Erik ten Hag in the past, he always really used direct strikers. When he had
not necessarily. Not necessarily. He played
Ajax. He had Haller, right?
Yeah,
he had in Ajax he had Dolberg. He had another one. I can't remember the name.
And Haller
and Haller later on. But
Tadic played a 10 under him. He played the blue.
No, Tadic. But in bigger games, especially, he played Tadic as false nine. Especially in bigger games where you know. He wanted to play a different way, kind of like we lose Bruno Fernandes in the FA Cup final. I'm not worried about the profile under Ten Hag because one of the first things he said when he came to United, when Martial played us a few games for him, was like he loved Martial and loved Martial's profile of player. I don't think he has a problem with that profile. I think it would actually be of a huge benefit for us because the Premier League right now, there's a lot of hard games. A lot of hard games. It's no longer the case of maybe you play 15 games in a season and then you have to worry about the top 4. It's a case you're playing 10 games away to Aston Villa. You're playing teams like Brighton, really tough games where maybe you don't want to use a Højlund. Maybe you want to change up the pro system a little bit. You're going away from home where you need a different kind of profile of player to kind of capitalize on the opposition. So for us, I don't look at it as, oh, he's coming to back up Højlund. I'm looking at it as he's coming to give us something different that we'll need in all these games.
That's what I think as well. Yeah.
Can I just say, interject here? With Zirkzee, like obviously the player profile, it makes sense to me. I think I understand why they're going for him. Not necessarily because I think he's a good fit of the football that we want to implement, but just because I think they're looking at it from a sense where Rasmus Højlund costs you 70 million plus. I think personally we should go for Tony, but they've got to be very careful in terms of what striker they get next because it's going to set precedent of what's going to go on like moving forward. If you get what I'm trying to say, because if you get someone like Tony's not going to come to this club and be like, I'm good playing second fiddle. He's gonna be. I want to be starting.
He's got ego.
Plus, it doesn't really make sense as well. On top of that, if we've got a limited budget, you're going to go and overload on a certain amount of money for a position where you can find it somewhere else, where you already spent 70 million on somewhere. Doesn't make sense spending 50 million plus again the following season on the same position when there's more important positions to appeal to. That's why I think we're gonna basically get him. But he would.
And the wages too. The wages for Tony would not be cheap.
Yeah. You don't think?
No, because it's going to be one of his last contracts he's going to get. So he's not going to be getting less than 120,000. It's going to be above, close to 200k for sure.
I'm sorry, I don't think anyway. I don't know who's giving Tony 200k. I'm sorry.
That's part of the problem because that's why a lot of clubs are looking at it like, should we go for Tony because he's going to demand? Because look at how old is he? He's 28, 29?
28.
So his contract he gets now is going to be 4 + 1. So it's going to take him to 33. Yes, you can redo the contracts into the lifetime of it, but people at this age, they don't take small money when it comes to when they're making a move at 28 years old, especially for a striker that's supposed to be in his prime. He's going to demand at minimum 170, 180k.
Yeah,
this guy is in the Holland. Can I watch him in the Euros? Is he in
he's in the Euros, but I don't think he'll start.
Okay.
Yeah. He might play on Wednesday. He might. I don't think he'll play.
Brian, I just want to quickly add here. You're saying 160, 170, but isn't that all Brantford going to get if he supposedly comes to United?
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. At minimum, I'm being kind because most likely it's going to be way above that. It's going to be above that.
If we sign Tony, Estella, if we sign Tony, he deserves at least 200. We gave Mason Mount 250k. We gave Mason Mount 250k. This is a proven 20-goal-a-year goal scorer in the Premier League. He deserves 250k. If he does.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of money.
Imagine Andrew got student loan. Imagine Andrew got student loan in the UK, boy.
No, but I think for me though, what about if he doesn't? What about if we offer him 150k max?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I think 150k.
But he'd be on that already. He'd be on that.
No, he's on 46,000.
He's not. I don't think
he's on 46,000.
He's not.
That's not true. He's a proven Premier League goal scorer. There's no way he's on that much.
He's on this money, bro. Look,
bro. When you're playing for lower league clubs, that's what happens. You're not on big wages.
He was on 46, but apparently because of the whole betting thing, his wage went down for some reason, and now he's on 36.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? That's what he's on.
How accurate do you think this is, Saeed? How accurate?
This is very accurate because I'll go on, let's say, Capology. Do you know what I mean? And I think it'll be similar. Let me just go on the club, Brentford. Let me see if this is accurate as salaries. Yeah, there you go. Well, here it says 20,000.
That's
so
mad.
More than that.
Yeah, no, he's on 20,000, bro.
Who's earning the most? Who's earning more than him?
Bro,
who earns the most?
Reguilon was getting 53, and then obviously Ben Mee. Yeah,
He's gonna want big money, man.
Bro,
He's
no,
been
he's
earning
gonna
that
want
wage.
100K.
I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked by that. I
Nah,
had
he'll
no
want
idea.
100K, man.
He's 28 years old and he hasn't maximized his
Nah.
earnings as a professional footballer. He's gonna want a lot of money. He's gonna want a lot of money.
What you want and what's realistic is two separate things, my guy. Like, yeah, you can say you want that, but like, yeah, it doesn't matter that he's getting into the twilight of his career. It's about you've already started to perform now. Why is it that you started to perform now? You think I'm going to give you everything? It doesn't work like that.
I don't disagree.
You don't go from 50K to 200K just because you're at the twilight of your career. That's your fault, buddy. You should have backed up your ideas before and come out earlier. That's not how it works.
That's why I think people are not pushing for him as much. Obviously, combination with what happened with him and everything. But I think that a player like him now still has options, right? Because of Saudi availability. Saudi can easily give him that 200K. It's like that's nothing. So he might be looking at it, he might say, listen, if nobody wants to come for me, I'll just pack and then leave on a free. Get a huge sign-on bonus somewhere. His contract is running out the next season. He has 1 year left, right? Did he sign a new deal? 1 year left, right?
No. After the betting thing, did you not sign a deal?
No. He's got 1 year left, 2025. But for me, I think I've turned away from Tony. I'm more link up, man, get into feet, give everyone else the wingers. Because I believe we need to get more out of these wingers. They're the goals where they're coming from. Now in football, it's the wingers that are getting the goals. You know,
Bro.
Cole Palmer, Phil Foden.
That, for me, that's the issue we've got with Haaland. He's
Vinny.
a player who's going to develop as a
Vinny.
going forward.
Yeah.
But his build-up play, hold-up play has been a bit scratchy, in my opinion, from what I've been watching. So if we're talking about the profile of this Dutch guy coming in, 6'4", hold up the play, apparently, comes deep, brings people in, that's exactly what we need. He will drag a centre-back with him. That will create space for people to run into, in behind, whether it's Bruno or the wide guys, diagonal runs, whatever. So I think that's the way Ten Hag likes to play his game. It's just one thing that's going to make me laugh is that it's another Dutch player. And I'm saying, what's going on here? They've all failed. How many Dutch players have really done well in Premier League football in recent years? I know DB, Dennis Bergkamp, is an exception, but
the thing is that when they do hit though, when those Dutch players come over and they're good, they're like some of the best Premier League players ever.
You can't use that because let's be honest, who really failed as a Dutch player? If we look at it, it's probably that we signed. It's probably Memphis Depay.
Donny
Van de Beek.
But Donny Van de Beek never came in to be, and let's be fair, that dude never got burned. He never got burned. So we never really.
Yeah, but he has to prove in training. If he's good enough, he'd train and then he'd be selected for the side, maybe. He never got a run, to be honest.
He just never got a run at all. And on top of that, with the time we did finally see him get on the ball, and he was like that game against Everton, the game that he actually broke his leg in. Was the one time like, okay, you seen it. It was those that run of games before that and that game, you seen a whole different Van de Beek. But if we
when we send him on loan, he struggled at Everton
because it's hard to come in. You coming in from Ajax, and let's be fair,
dysfunctional team.
I don't think he was. I never understood that signing. Like, what was the point of him? That signing, I think it was.
I know, but even Ten Hag couldn't get the best out of him, and this is a player that he was the one that gave him his professional start. And
but it was
like
bro, it was very.
He was surprised at the lack of his conditioning. Like when he came in, he was slow. Like compared to everybody else on the team, he just looked different. Like he looked like he was just that tad bit slower in training and stuff, So I don't think he just wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough.
I think he came on certain instances. He showed, to me personally, when he had poor performances, when people said he had poor performances, I think his performances were better than McTominay's in the same position in terms of retaining ball, making progressive passes, keeping things simple and ticking. There was times when he was out of the team for a long period of time, then was given a 5 or 10 minutes cameo, did well, and the same thing what happened to Ahmad, where he got canned and wasn't allowed to play the next game, happened. And if you're already on low confidence, it's eventually going to inherently affect your whole performance. But going back to Zirkzee really quickly, Yabba, just because he's like 6'3" something plus, I want you to know he's not like that other physical like person because he's actually got good feet.
Very good feet.
His link up play is pretty good. I would liken him to someone like a Perisic, where it's like they can be an attacker, like a really like tall, wide attacker, If you get what I'm saying, they're playing down the middle, but that's because of their height. If he wasn't so tall, I'd actually classify him as like an inverted forward, like a winger, because he's got quite good feet.
Thank you.
Like, so
I need to do my homework. I need to really do my homework on this guy. I'm hoping
you definitely seen him ball before because, bro, there was that summer he went to Bologna. A lot of clubs were going because he was a young prospect. That year he was a young prospect, so you definitely seen clips, and because he had a lot of like, it was just a lot of hype. But to be fair, kind of big. I think he was sold for like, if I'm not mistaken, like 12 mil or 11 mil, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah,
it was around that range. But hey, they bought the best out of him because obviously Thiago Motta the ball, and Thiago Motta just bought the best out of a lot of players.
So we can't put our eggs in one basket though, Omar. That's the thing though, because AC Milan are just waiting for that agent fee to kind of settle down. They're the favorites. They're the ones that. But then again, I don't know what
it seems they don't want to pay it.
They don't want to pay it
because they don't want to pay it. Milan just doesn't have money, bro. It's really,
I know.
It sets a very hard precedent, especially for an Italian club. That's a hard fee to pay because they could literally sign a player for that amount of money. So I don't think they're going to pay that agent fee.
It's a lot of money. I'm not a stat man, but is there any data about his performance last season for Bologna? I mean, with his assists.
Yeah, he had impressive. I mean, the stats for Zirkzee was very, very positive, but he had a good season. I think he had 11 goals in 34, which it's not bad for a breakout season. 4 assists, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, bro, it was like Højlund last season who had 9 goals also.
Yeah.
It's like when you're looking at one of those, you're just looking at the top of profile.
Profile.
Yeah, the profile play you're getting.
This is what I'm saying. I just want Ivan Toney because it's like when you're spending this type of money, it's like a gamble as well because it doesn't matter how.
I agree with
breakout season.
On that too.
You're basically depending on somebody to hit the ground running for starters, to adjust to a new country, club, culture, everything all at once, and take it on in their stride. It's not that simple. So when you're going to see poor performances in the first season, normally when you're purchasing a foreign player, you give them at least 6 to 12 months to adapt. So we're trying to say we need someone to alleviate the pressure from Højlund, but you got to be careful of what player type you want. Someone to either take it off him completely and Højlund learns off, or somebody that battles it out with Højlund, or somebody that's a step, or that's just battle.
Facts. I personally think the type of just attitude, vibe, persona that Tony has is the type of persona you need to be at United. Like that energy, you just pull up like I'm big dog. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? As of opposed to the young bucks who are coming like, oh snap, I play for Manchester United now. Like, I feel like that's what Donny van de Beek did. He came in and he's like, oh my God, like, wow, like Old Trafford, 90,000 on an average. Like, oh no. What's his name? Ivan Toney's a troll, bro. He come in to troll. Like,
he's gonna come in like a villain, though. He's gonna come in like a villain.
I feel like a dude like that linking up with the young boys, and then you got Rashford. I feel like him and Rashford will be havoc. Top, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like I personally would go for Ivan, but the only issue is obviously age, but it don't matter because he's still for that age. I still
28 is not old, man.
I think 28 is good. No, I think 28 is pretty good, and obviously I don't think the price is going to be that expensive because I'm looking at it long term. Instead of us spending 70-80 million plus on another striker, we spend maybe in the region of 40-50 million on Ivan Toney, and he nurtures Højlund come into in terms of hold up play, how to come into feet. He can actually learn off an actual striker. And what I'm trying to say is this: the same reason why I think it would be a good idea to sign Ivan Toney is why I may be open to keeping Johnny Evans at the club. Is because yes, I don't think he's good enough for the club. I think a lot of these players need to go. But like I said, it's not FIFA. You can't just get rid of everyone that you want. You need some kind of authority or like level-headedness in that club. So I'm talking about Johnny Evans from the back, from being there, knowing the history or whatever. Ivan Toney going through all the English competition systems or whatever, going up all the leagues. He's obviously tough. He's a grafter. That's something that Højlund can take off, learn off as well. So I think just getting aspects as well on the player, not just names, I think is important.
You know what it is, though? Again, it comes out to obviously the style of play, what we're trying to do, because it looks like Zirkzee, the manager wants him. The manager's keen on him. You know, he wants to bring him in. You know what I mean? It does show you that he is missing the Martial effect.
My fault, Saeed. Is it the manager or is this like an Ineos profile player?
I think it's a bit of both. Because we missed out on Martial. Obviously, he's gone. and we have missed that kind of sort of profile. Do you get what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
do need something that's different to Højlund. This is why I was like, why are we getting Sesko for? Like, we don't need Sesko. Højlund is that Sesko. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't need another sort of same profile to the one we've got already. We need something different. So one thing's going right, you know, you've got someone else coming in and trying to make the balance. You feel me? So, yeah, man, we'll see how this plays. But for me, I think I heard Omar Berads on today. There was news about Omar Berads saying we're not willing to overpay. You know, he's coming in and he's setting the precedent and he's saying, yo, we're not overpaying. We're not doing this anymore. You know, this idea that United tax is something. Nah, man, we don't pay over the odds. We have to have a structure and we stick to that structure. You know, look, similar to what Man City do as well, really, let's be honest. Like, Man City don't go over the odds as much. You know, they might do it for certain ones, but if they need to back out, they'll back out. You just have to have a good structure, know what you're doing, right? Move on from there. And you kind of go to the next profile. You have a database, man.
You know what, Saeed? It's like what I'm pleased to see is that maybe we can get the deals done quickly and effectively, and just bam, get our deals in and stop wasting time with all this late transfers. I've never understood why enough transfers happen on deadline day. You know, you're into the season, you're starting things, and you wait until deadline day to actually bring people in. You want to bring them in from the start of pre-season and get them integrated into the side, and I think that's a good job done. You know, but when you're bringing in people later, you might as well start your business in January. If you like select someone you want to sign, start getting on their case early. So come June and the transfer window opens, you sign them straight away. I just understand why they drag things out, because you want to incorporate.
Jekyll, they just made the decision on the manager last week. Jekyll, you really think they're gonna make a decision?
Well, not yet. You might not sign the deal. You never know, man.
You know what I mean?
Man.
It's like
it's not signed yet, man. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I see that 2-year deal, man. You know what I'm saying? So
it's one of those. At least the targets that they're going for are targets that make sense for the team. That's one thing I have to say. Like the profiles that I've been seeing us connected with, it's not like last season when we saw, even though I thought he was going to be big just because like I was following the Ten Hag train first year. So I thought Mason Mount would have really brought something different to the team, but I'm originally a Mason Mount fan. But now this season, I actually see like we see the center back situation. And obviously, Brathwaite is definitely a player. Lenny Yoro, definitely a player to recommend. And then now, talking up top. Now, the biggest thing they need to address is definitely that CDM position.
CDM.
I need to see what's the links with that. I know it's Fofana, and I would love to see Fofana. You said what?
I heard apparently there's news that we could still keep Amrabat.
Yeah. I see that today.
Listen, I said this before the season ended a couple times. It's like I don't mind that as a rotational player. You need that, but you play him in his role. That was my biggest issue.
What the holding?
The play the 6. You just play all the way back there.
I'll only agree to keep him if you get. He comes in if McTominay goes, and that's my thing. They both can't be here.
No, absolutely. But you're gonna have to make that decision anyways if you're trying to bring another new CDM. But
no, it's cheaper, isn't it? Because sorry to cut you off. I'm gonna say it's cheaper because something about we have to pay 10 million after January when we got him on loan, and if we wanted to keep him, the option to buy, I think, is another 10 million or something like that. So it's gonna be one of the cheapest deals that we can do for a 6 in that position. So it makes sense to get him. But my thing is, I don't mind him coming here, but McTominay can't be here. If McTominay's staying here, then go get someone else.
But they play different positions.
Yeah.
No, you say that, but then what's McTominay coming on for when somebody in that position he comes in and then it's you're supposed to hold.
Why are you going to tell a homegrown player?
What you say, sorry?
There's a homegrown quota. Why are you going to say dash out McTominay straight away?
First of all, you're in a profit. If you dash out McTominay, you're in a profit.
Yeah, but there's a homegrown quota, isn't there, about players?
Yeah, we got more than enough, Angie. I mean, sorry.
Okay, last time I'd done the number, I think we were struggling or we were sort of on the cusp. So I think it's a bit of a concern.
No,
if Evans leaving, I think what's his name, Haaland won't qualify because he's at an age now or something. I don't know. Maybe
Evans might help. Evans, that's why they want to keep him.
Evans staying. I don't know about Heaton.
Harry Maguire
still here. Garnacho, Mainu. I'm assuming Kambuala now.
Kambuala.
McTominay's still here.
And plus, he's bringing in. He's trying to.
Garnacho as well. Garnacho.
What I heard is 2 players that he's really pushing to bring up is that kid Amos, who plays left back, and then you also got Wheatley.
Yes, sir.
And I like Wheatley's profile a lot.
I like him
a lot, and I like his maturity on the ball. I like his maturity on the ball a lot. It's not like
what's happened to Dan Gore, guys?
He got injured at Port Vale.
Yeah, what's happened to him now? Is he going to make pre-season or no?
Yeah, he should. I don't know. I don't know if he'll make pre-season, but he's
still around there. He looked exciting.
Yeah. But I don't know if he'll make it though. Now that they've got Kobe Mainu, there's always one that misses out in it, and I think Collier will make it rather than Dan Gore. So it's one of them, man. The manager likes physicality. He likes you to have presence, and if you haven't got that, you know what I mean, you might not be in the pecking order. But who knows? I don't know.
I didn't mention Luke Shaw, guys, because I want him to go. Like he needs to go.
For him.
But he's not going though, man.
Yeah, let's go in. Luke Shaw talk, bro. Please, I beg you.
Huh?
No, I don't want. Every time I'm on Saeed TV, I end up having arguments with Luke Shaw stands, and it's just like
I'm not backing me.
I know. But there's gonna be a little somebody come up and be like, "No, we gotta keep Luke Shaw. He's the greatest left back of all time."
Oh man.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, shout out Luke Shaw. That's it. Good luck in the Euros. I'm gonna see you when I see you, fam. Like,
have you seen him? He looks thin now, man.
This guy's the modern day Diallo, man. It's crazy.
For England, he's looking his best self at the moment. If you've seen him in training, the peaks, he looks thin, man. And then when he comes to United, he's going to look fat again. I can see it. And then he's going to pull a muscle.
He's just
with Luke Shaw.
Genetically, he's just a bulky dude. Like, you know them stocky dudes? Genetically, he just
there's
like
a difference between don't you think there's a difference between one of those? Don't you think there's a big difference between his healthy Luke Shaw and then sometimes lazy Luke Shaw?
No.
When you see the photos, there's huge difference, man.
Same to me. He's only conscious.
Good player, but him there is like him not there. Like cool. You know what I mean?
I think he's been a good player over the last few years. England international, top player. I can't think of many better left backs in the Premier League than Luke Shaw. The only thing I'd say, I think since he broke his leg, remember he broke his leg. From then, there's been complications. I think this season when he had an injury, has he got a pin in his leg or something from like years ago that was causing problems? So I think that injury has really sort of set him back a long way. I know Mourinho gave question marks about his mentality and character, but I think when he's on song, I think he's a good player for us. And
I think Eric Ten Hag questioned his character as well. If you look at his recent stories,
I seen a post who we link it with, and I seen one we linked with Ait Nouri from Wolves.
Player, bro. Did you see the Georgia left back today? He was good, you know.
Yeah, Euro hype though. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. After all she's been Euro hype, bro. After all she's been Euro hype. I'm not for
bro. Who is that Georgia left back, bro? He was quality, man.
Bro, I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of people are putting stakes up on Georgia and Turkey. The atmosphere was just a little hot, so both teams came out rolling.
Bro, we need a left back though. I'm surprised we're not being linked with one yet. In terms of
someone just said in the comments, Nori would be a perfect replacement for Luke Shaw.
Someone said that.
They're not even the same type of left back.
No, I think he would.
Who's the other left back where we were looking to sign?
Kirkes from Bournemouth.
Kirkes.
Yeah, from Bournemouth. Yeah, he looks nice. He had a terrible game in the Euros, but he looks nice, man.
Euro hype.
I like him. Like he's powerful, strong.
Who did they play against Hungary? That last game?
Or no?
No, it was Switzerland. Yeah, Switzerland. Yeah.
The Swiss,
yeah. Where's Malacia? Bring back Alva Fernandez. Listen, I mean,
have we given up on Malacia?
Listen, man, come on.
You just don't know what he's gonna come back like after that long injury.
Yeah,
so
man.
It's hard to. You can't plan with him next season. You just hope he comes into the season and plays a role, and maybe at some point gets into some form, but you can't plan with him next season.
With Malacia, we got enough time to see him? I think he's a bit of a dog. He works hard, but do you think he's ever of the level, or do you think there's any growth there?
No, I don't think
starting player for us going forward.
Let's be honest. I think you're right. Let's be honest. He's technically not good enough. I don't think. Like, he's a hard worker, but on the ball, you can just tell he's not good enough.
Right.
Like he's not going to be. But we accepted him because he was a backup and he worked really hard for the team and he was aggressive. But we were never thinking, oh, this is a long-term replacement for Luke Shaw. But if we've got, do we wait for Harry? Do we want to sign another young left back when we've got Harry Armstrong in who everybody thinks is good enough?
How old is he? He's like 16, 17. What we did? And we didn't sign Malacia. We never signed Malacia as a backup. We signed him as an exciting young player to challenge Luke Shaw. Like, yes, he came. He's very raw. He needs to hone in his skills. I understand that. But you can't just write him off. The guy's still under 23 years old. He had a serious injury, a setback.
He's like 24,
and he cost 15 million. He cost less than 15 million pounds.
No,
Who's that?
Hey,
Malacia.
Malacia. But we were at this stage of the club where John Murtagh just said, "Oh, Ten Hag, what do you want?" And he goes, "Oh, I want this touch player." And then Murtagh's like, "Okay, let me sign him for you." And then that was the phase of Manchester United's history at that time. It's not like we signed him because we looked at all the top young players, young left backs in the world, and thought this one's for United. We just signed him because Ten Hag wanted him.
I think that's a bit disingenuous for you to say just because Ten Hag wanted him, we wanted him. Because Ten Hag, I'm not going to do originalism, but Ten Hag wanted a few other players and he didn't get them. I don't think that's why we just got him. I think they looked at. I think they done their background, they done their research, and he probably showed shown raw abilities as to why they think he'll be able to transition from Dutch football or however he played there to play for United and how Ten Hag wanted him to play. Unfortunately, due to injuries, we haven't seen enough of him. But maybe when he comes back, I'm willing to give him benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't just write him there. Malacia. I wouldn't just write him there.
I ain't gonna hold you, bro. He was good when he first came in.
He's not a bad player.
He was a steady Eddie.
He's aggressive,
Yeah, he gets in your face.
He would have been perfect to what was going on right now. And then now you build off the next left back, you come in, that's your rotation.
If you
want to
run Malacia or Malacia?
Either way.
I say Malacia, bro. I don't know.
Malacia.
I think the problem is that we want a left back.
Names anyways, bro. I'm from New York. I'll be butchering half the names anyway. So no disrespect.
I think we want a left back that can bomb forward. That's what I think everybody's feeling as Manchester United fans, that our fullbacks don't really contribute as much in the attack. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka he does what he does. And then we've had Luke Shaw for a very long time. And obviously the big injury he had hasn't really allowed him to really hit the potential we signed, actually. So I can see why Ineos wants to sign a new left back, even though you have Amaz, he's 17, guys. You never know how a player is going to develop. You never know. So let him keep doing what he's doing. If he's good enough, he'll break into the team like Kobe Menu has. Let's go get the best left back we can possibly get, because myself, I don't rate Luke Shaw. I don't think he can play Ten Hag system. I think he's getting older. He's a good player, but he has fallen into that steady Eddie kind of character for me, and he doesn't contribute as much as you would like him to. And obviously his injury problems as well. So we need someone. We need someone that can come in, who can take a little bit of pressure off the wingers in terms of bombing forward and putting the ball into the box. And I think that would help our attack. So Ineos are looking at a left back. I think that's been said enough times that I think we'll probably send one.
Yeah, 100%. And then the main one, obviously, is the centre-back situation. Anyone still keen on Bradthwaite? You know what I mean? Are you guys happy with that? I mean,
I've been watching more of his highlights and just scouting him more. I like him a lot.
I love it. But
he's very tall.
I'm not paying.
He's very tall. Does anybody worry about his feet? Like he can be a little bit clumsy on the ball sometimes. Like you know what I mean? They can get caught. If you're going to play on the halfway line, you've got to be quick on your feet. Like people talk about their long range passing. I'm more worried about like the short 5-10 yard pass to get out of trouble. Like that's my big concern. That if teams start to press us on the halfway line, is he going to get stripped off the ball because he's so tall and lanky? Yeah. Otherwise, everything else looks really good. I think everything else looks really good. He's a good box defender, all that stuff. But can he play football on the halfway line?
Yeah,
that's
the problem.
That's my big concern.
The sample size is hard to use because at PSV he was able to play in a higher line, obviously compared to Everton. He's not slow. I think a lot of people see him and see Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is slow. Brentwaite is not slow. Brentwaite he looks deceptively fast, kind of like a Matip. It's like kind of like he's kind of his body movements. If there was a player I would say that was kind of similar to him, it's kind of like maybe Matip for Liverpool, where he looks a little bit gangly, but he's not bad technically and he's not slow. So the issue for us is how much do we want him? Because I think Man United want him because he can play both sides. He can play left centre back and he can play right centre back. So it would be an ideal partner for Martinez, and then he can cover for Martinez when he's injured. So that's why for United, it's like a rare profile of player that can play both sides pretty comfortably. That's why they're looking at him so strongly as the first centre back they want to sign. So I think we'll pay the money. We'll probably get Everton to a place where they're like, listen, we'll offer 50 million.
Offer. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be like, hey, 50 million. Take it or leave it. And they're gonna say they're gonna want 55, 60, I think, at the minimum. So I think if we can get them to a place where they're like, listen, we'll only offer 50, but if Everton are willing to do a deal for 55, then I think we'll do it.
We'll do it. Yeah. That's exactly it, you know.
I think we'll find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks, because Everton have got that thing where they've got to make a certain amount of revenue, right? My thing is, I think that's why we've submitted such a low bid. I think we're trying to test them and see what they say. I think anything more than 50 million, walk away. Because, like I said before, I'm looking at players like Inacio Sporting Lisbon. He played tonight, but he got a few minutes. I already told you, I think he's a comfy player to play this type of ball system. Some people, I know
he's 60 million as well. He's 60 million as well.
Again, I think there's wiggle room there. There's actually wiggle room.
He has a release clause. That's the thing. He has a release clause. So unless they're willing to negotiate outside his release clause, but I doubt they'll do that. Sporting.
And I'm still even saying, you're gonna call me crazy. I'm still saying Colwell, man. Like I'm not writing him off either. I'm not writing him off either. People,
they would never sell to. We're rivals. We're rivals, man. They would never sell.
We're not getting this amount off them. Come on.
Yeah, but they rinsed us. They rinsed us.
They rinsed us. That wasn't an asset for them. That wasn't a high asset. He wanted to leave the football club.
I still think there's a possibility. If at the end of the day, you're thinking on a fan head. I'm thinking on a business head. At the end of the day, it's about this. It's about this. If this makes sense, then they will do the deal.
He's a key asset to them, man.
But Estrella, the reason why we want to sign Brentwaite is so he can play with Martinez, not be his cover. So if you went for Colwell, who is a left-handed centre back, that's where he'd play Martinez's position. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to sign a player that can play that right centre back, and maybe if we sell Lindelof, we get a replacement for Lindelof, and then Maguire is like the fourth choice.
I was thinking about this the other day. If we sell Lindelof,
we need 2 centre backs. We don't just need one.
Yeah, we do need 2.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, if you get Kogo, we're gonna get Todibo. So that's 2, right?
That's the 2, yeah. So Todibo would start. That's what it would be. Todibo and Martinez would be the starting centre backs.
Would start. You'd have Martinez and Kogo to back up.
Where does Todibo play? Left or right?
Right side.
Right, man. Right hand side.
You can play right back as
people don't rate him. People don't rate him for some reason, man. I don't know what people don't rate him, man.
You know, with the Braithwaite, I can't pronounce his name. Jared, what's his name? Jared Braithwaite.
Jared Braithwaite.
I think it is a case of the left-footed centre back, right-foot centre back. Him being a left footer predominantly, I don't see him playing at right centre back. I know people say he can play there, but I don't think it's fair. You've got to have a left footed and a right footed. That's why Luke Shaw, who everyone's disrespecting, was able to play centre. Was able to play centre back. You know, which surprised me. So what's Luke Shaw centre back? Because he's left footed. It's how we get out of phase one with the ball, with your left foot, get out your feet and buff. When we saw England the other day, as much as he played really well, the young guy Gay from Palace, he's right-footed. He's having to adjust a little bit. When he comes up against a bigger team, they're going to pinch him because just that getting the body shape to get out your feet and pass the ball. We had it with Johnny Evans, played at left centre-back last season. He's got a decent left foot, but it's not a proper left foot. So I do think if we do get this young guy from Everton, it's to play at left centre-back. Whether it's rotation or whatever, but that's the ideal. He will be... behind Martinez, but we've got to bring him in and take the long-term approach and give this guy the left centre back going forward. That's my opinion. And granted as well, you talk about his passing and all that kind of thing. That kind of thing can improve when he's playing for Everton. there's no evidence to say that they're popping and have a lot of possession of the ball and squeezing the play and pushing up towards, playing in the opposition's half and popping it around. I haven't seen that in his game. But I've seen him defend, and I think we do need that physicality. If you're talking about the guy from Nice, maybe we don't have that. Or the Sporting Lisbon guy who I saw today, he looks like 5'8" or something. I just think we're going to lack in certain situations in the Prem.
I think there's a reason why Ineos are not going for Todibo. There has to be a reason why they are. He's on the list, but he's not. He's not the number one target. So there has to be a reason. They have to have some kind of inside info in terms of his scouting or something that maybe we shouldn't sign this guy as our first signing. Maybe in case of emergency, break glass and you go for Todibo. But I think he's further down the list. I think he's probably even behind someone like Chalaba in terms of who we'd go for that right side. I'm being serious. So for real, because
I think they're prioritizing. I think they've already got their, like you said, there's a list, names down. I feel like they're saving Todibo because it's one of the fastest they can.
Yeah, easy. Yeah,
I think they're going by degree of difficulty. So they're trying to go attack the ones that are going to be most difficult first, be the most time consuming, and then the ones that are just going to be quick phone calls because one of the investors in our club owns that club where he plays for. It's a quick transaction to be done supposedly. But I do see your theory as well, where it could be he just so down the list. Maybe we're just holding him in contempt. We're not really thinking to pull the trigger just yet. Like there's more important things. So it is true. But quickly, Yaba, with Guehi, I don't think someone like Kim is fair to compare to Bramthwaite because Guehi, athletic, like physicality wise, he's great. On the ball, I don't think he's so good. Johnny Evans as well. I think he's actually got good feet. I think the reasons why I used to see him get pinched a lot is just because of his age. His legs are gone. If you had maybe like a 5-year younger Johnny Evans, I'd actually say he's decent as a backup because he's actually pretty decent with his feet, back left and right. I think if Bamford we did get him, I actually do think I agree with Brian. They would actually play him with Martinez. I think they'll try and pinch that many monies that they'll actually try and put him to the right so he could solve 2 problems with one player. I think they'll actually try and do that.
What's his right foot like for starter?
It's good. They're saying he's very two-footed.
Really? Have you seen him ping diagonals with right foot? Is he that confident? I thought he's just a predominantly left-footed guy.
No, he's the player himself said he's very two-footed. That he's very confident on his right foot as well. That so much so, this is gonna sound funny. He has a 5-star weak foot on FIFA. It means like even like the video game FIFA, they rate his weak foot. But to be in all seriousness, even his scouts like that has watched him say his weak foot is not going to be a problem. He can play both sides. Someone like who would be a good example? I would say maybe like Van Dijk. You can tell what foot he is. Like he's very comfortable on both feet. I don't think he's on Van Dijk level, but he's competent enough where it'll be hard to tell on match days what is his favorite side.
So what happened to the young man? Why didn't he get in the England squad? Is he injured or something? Or
Southgate is a drunkard.
Yeah, Southgate is just
I'm not sure about that. I think he's seen stuff in training that he doesn't like. Because
Southgate has his favorites.
People just think Southgate is dumb. Like he's not that dumb that when he watches him.
He is. He's that dumb.
Don't be silly. Don't. When he watches him train, I'm sure like he's competent enough to see, oh wow, Lewis Dunk's a much better footballer. Oh wow, Konza's a much better footballer.
I like Konza.
Konza's a much better. Like he can see. You can see. I'm sure you've seen him training, and he's just a different level to the other players. I'm not ready to dismiss that completely and just blame it all on Southgate. I think we've got to be critical of everything when we sign a player. Later,
Southgate
we can't sign him and then later realize, we didn't critically analyze something.
But
I think it's fair to say what happened here.
He's a safety merchant, meaning he takes the part of least risk. He likes taking things that he understands and he knows. He probably like Brightwood. Let's be real. He just had his really first season in the Premier League. He's not going to pick him over someone like Guehi that's been playing in the Premier League for how long now? Like 2-3 seasons.
Let me counter that. And let me counter that and say he picked Mainu and Wharton. Wharton of 6 months of Premier League experience. Mainu of like 7 months of Premier League experience over players like Maddison or Grealish or other options that he could have had.
And I'll counter that by saying that in defense, he has been very, very safe. That's why he's picked Harry Maguire for how many tournaments. He doesn't like changing his defense. Look at the defenders he's picked. He always goes with players he can trust. Even though Maguire was injured, he still tried to bring him along. Even though Luke Shaw is injured, he's still trying to bring him along. Even on the left side, he's playing Trippier. Like he's using players that he trusts.
No, but there were no other options. There were no other, like literally no other left side.
Does England not have any other left back? Like they
Mitchell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mitchell.
That's it.
Chilwell.
That's it. Chilwell, and that's it. They're dead. They're rubbish.
No, I think to say it's just Gareth Southgate, and Gareth Southgate is a dummy, and that's why he didn't pick Branthwaite in the team. I think that's too dismissive. I think like if we were at training and even like somebody that's not a professional can see the difference between, say, maybe a Branthwaite versus the other defenders, and I think he's looked at it and gone, "Oh wow, there's different levels to this," and Branthwaite does not admit that. I think we should just be at least aware of this, like not dismissive. I think we should. That's all I'm saying. I think it's different defending for Everton when you're just sitting in your box. You're not expected to dominate the ball. You're not expected to defend it. You're halfway line.
But that's a risk with every player stepping up. That's what you want to do.
I was just about to say John Stones. My thing is this, and I agree with people and I disagree sometimes, innit? My thing is that I think we've been scarred from Harry Maguire or anything that resembles any characteristics of that. Our backs against the wall straight away from the get-go. And I feel like that's why a lot of United fans are back against the wall with Branthwaite. They haven't seen enough of him. Comparatively, you're just seeing 60 to 70 million, which is reminding you English, tour, and what's been described is similar to Harry Maguire. But if you actually look at him, I would say stylistically, he's more like the John Stones. Like the way everyone says Harry Maguire is so comfortable with the ball, I actually argue it like to a point. Like, yeah, he's good receiving the ball and maybe going a couple yards. But and then dictate the next set of phase of play, I would say he's pretty like bog standard average. Whereas Branthwaite,
Maguire, sorry, go. The big problem with Maguire, the big problem with Maguire is that he gets stripped off the ball so easily in dangerous situations. That's where he gets undone a lot of the times. That's the big. Whereas you see Martinez, he will receive the ball in tight areas, wriggle his way out, and then find a path. The big problem with Maguire is that he gets stripped of the ball. Like he has no awareness of like space and time and all that stuff. That's the big issue. He's so slow on the turn. I know we have a bit of like we're a bit scared and scarred and bruised from the Maguire transfer. I would feel a lot comfortable if Southgate or the England team, they saw him at training. Oh, this is the future. Branthwaite's the future. Let's play like they say with Mainu, like they say with Wharton. They go, oh, this is a future. And the thing is, it's not like we're inundated with all these world class. It's not like we've got John Terry and Rio Ferdinand in the squad. We don't have that. We're actually before the tournament, everybody was talking about what were they talking about? The defense is a weakness. The defense is a weakness. So in the weakest area of the team, if he can't get into if he's one of the first sent home, and he goes, he's just not ready. If you listen to him in the press conference, Southgate said he's just not ready. He's seen him at training. He's made the determination that he's just not ready. All I'm saying is big way. I'm not saying he can't improve. I'm not saying he won't be good enough for United.
I don't like that argument, Ange, because Tomori didn't go. And I would argue Tomori's had a good season comparatively to some of the centre backs that did go. Yep. I wouldn't take anything from what Southgate says, whatever he says, just because he selected a few alterations to the squad this year. I think it's to benefit the other selections that shouldn't be there. So my thing is, even taking Mainu, I think it's a cop out. He shouldn't have gone. Me personally, hand on heart, Mainu shouldn't have gone because. I think there's other midfielders that could have a better shout to warrant a position over ahead of Mainu. Because everyone's saying, off the bat, you can call me crazy. Someone like James Ward-Prowse, season in, season out, he's been back. He's you can do this, but season in, season out, I would say he has more of a virtual chance Then
Nah,
someone like
he's not had a great season, man. I'll be honest with you, man. He
Mainly
started off all right. He started off all right, but
Mainly's been the best out of a bad bunch. He's had a good season, but he's been at the best out of a bad bunch.
I think Maynard's been consistently like head and shoulders above most midfielders in the league, man. Sometimes, man. You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
It could also come down. It could also come down to profile, where they are like looking at it like, okay, we have John Stones that can play out of the back, and maybe Brentwaite. We maybe want someone that is more experienced, like Guehi, who can play next to him. You know, it could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be this complicated thing where it's like, I don't know if he's ready or not. He's ready. I mean, look at the England's defense. He can play there. It's not an issue. I just think profile-wise, would he work with Stones even? Like, there are things like that where the manager might be looking at it and be like, maybe this balance of two players might not work for me, and I want a balance of two players that will work. Because at the end of the day, a centre-back is a partnership. That's the big thing. It's a partnership. The two players have to be right for each other. So maybe that was what happened, and Brightway didn't make the pick.
Can I ask you a question really quickly, please? I'm looking at the comments. Next season, if we was to buy, let's just say we got let's say we retained Amrabat and we got another 60 to 70 pound centre midfielder. Do you think Maynard should still be starting next season?
Yes,
I think he got to rotate him anyway, man. I don't think he's like a ready starter. You can rotate him, man.
You can rotate him.
The way everyone's going on, like, is I don't know if it's the English thing or the United thing, but I'm seeing it too often, especially with Bellingham as well. You're doing a bit too much. You're doing too much. Simple passes. Oh my God. Like, okay, I get it. He's a very good player, but calm down.
It's not that, Estrella. It's the composure that he brings at his age.
Yeah,
that's. I feel like that's what is the people are up about. You know what I mean? Because if you really look at it, the boy is nice. Obviously, they had a couple games where it's just like, but to come in at a time, and you always have to pay homage to that. To come into a team where the club is just where nobody, even your top performers are not performing, and you're a young bull. You're a young bull. You pull up, and now you got that exposure and that confidence to play. You gotta. Hats off to that. That's what I feel like it's like, because in the time of darkness, he was bringing that. Oh, at least we got Kobe. At least we got a future with this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, because if you remember Garnacho had a couple good runs, but it wasn't like this. But to be fair, it's not.
My worry
sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say the worry with Mainu in midfield isn't really Mainu himself. It's the structure of it. And that structure in that midfield is never going to be balanced as long as you have Bruno Fernandes in there. People are not going to want to hear this, because you are then going to require Mainu to do a lot more of what Bruno needs to cover for him. That's the biggest problem. So when Bruno loses the ball, you can't just have one midfielder trying to win it back. You need two of them. And yes, Mainu is not bad defensively, but you almost need like Kante level of midfield covering to make sure that when Bruno plays his risky passes, McTominay is not good at winning the ball back, because he doesn't know where to place himself in midfield, kind of like Michael Carrick.
Runner in getting back in our side.
But like that's going forward. I'm saying in terms of like going backwards.
Yeah, I'm talking going backwards. McTominay's the best player, physical, to get back and track things back.
I agree with you. I agree with you. He gets back, but when he gets back, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to get back.
There's clearly an agenda with Maguire and McTominay and the two Max.
Yeah, but it's not an agenda. He has his uses.
Always disrespect towards these guys. These guys are professional footballers. They're good players, and they've got physicality. Both of them, but for some reason they're getting disrespected.
Yeah, he has his uses, but okay, let's say for instance he has his uses. McTominay for sure, good box crusher, can get in the box, can get you a goal. But when you watch McTominay, so often he's out of position. Like, people wonder why our midfield is so open. Yes, part of it is Ten Hag's tactics, but it's also the players. They're always out of position. McTominay does it. Bruno does it. The only player that doesn't really do it is Mainu and Amrabat. And the problem with Mainu is, because he's young and inexperienced, there's going to be times where he is out of position as well. So we need midfielders who are going to stay where they need to be. And for me, McTominay, if you want to keep him at United, he has to be an ultra bench player where he comes in when like you're playing Carabao Cup, you're playing FA Cup. I have no issue with that. But we need starting midfielders, and it's not just like the same thing I'm criticizing McTominay for. I criticize Bruno Fernandes for. Stay in position. Like they don't do that.
Here's the thing. Just to respond to that, like I agree. I don't think he's a starter, but to say that he's not good at anything and he's not good once he gets back, he's not good on the ball. I think that's a bit outrageous, to be honest. Okay. The guy. We're talking about McTominay now. Mm-hmm. If you look at, we do a show, we analyze how we concede goals, the transitions, all the issues we had, lack of midfield all the time. Once the ball's been turned over, McTominay is always the one who gets back. So he's the strongest runner to get back and go to the ball side of the ball. You've got guys like Garnacho, Anthony, even Bruno. These are the guys who are not even on the screen once the opposition are about to score.
He's also the first player to get the ball away.
This cannot be discounted.
Let him land. Sorry,
this cannot be discounted when you're checking how we're conceding goals or the issues.
Yeah.
This is a strong runner, someone you need with the style of play that we were playing last season. Someone you need that when the other teams transition against you, he's the one, the strong runner who's always going to put the work in and get back. I see him at Kobe Mainu. Love the guy, but I've seen him full sprint, 3/4 sprint, and not really getting over some ground. McTominay's a good, strong runner. Have you seen he's built like a Greek god? He can get back and get up and down.
What? Yeah, but I love you, but you want it.
No.
Listen. In terms of players that can.
Hold on. Say what I see. These are my observations, and I granted I don't always jump in and say all this thing. I hear a lot of criticism about the guy, but sometimes you have to defend and say, hear the positives. This guy does do that very well. And I'm not biased about anybody. I'm just saying what I see. The guy like Roy Walker and Catchphrase, I say what I see, and the guy gets back and he works hard, and while the others are not even on the screen. That's for me. So when you say out of position, it's the system that allows us to get out of position, because we've got numbers forward. But when it comes to getting back, McTominay cannot be accused of or.
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is, with McTominay, him going backwards, I agree with you in terms of the hard work. That's fine. But in the next transition of you getting back, is that when we get angry at Rashford for not pressing, you're just running in a straight line. You're not running with any vim or any dedication to try and get the ball back. Fair enough, McTominay runs back, but it's what happens after. It's not concentrating. It's
the ball, really. Let's be honest.
Back, you don't get the ball, you just get the man, and then you're giving the free kick in a dangerous area, or it's or this is why you don't think he's good. He gets the ball, and because he's not proactive. He's like a passive player. He retains the ball by going sideways or backwards. Some instances when he received the balls on a half turn, he gets the ball, drive into space, and he can play it forward. He gets the ball on a half turn, and then he goes backwards a couple steps, does a bunny hop, and then he passes it sideways. It's like you're killing the ethos of our attack. And then when you are attacking, you're taking up positions where our strikers should be, and you're getting involved in terms of where our strikers' involvements in terms of goals, creativity is coming from. Me, I think he's a bigger problem in the squad rather than what you're giving him credit for. I don't think he's a horrible player. I just think he's not good enough for United. Simple.
Just to say, I'm not here to defend, like saying he's a great player. I'm saying, hear me out, he should be on the bench. That's my opinion.
I don't think he should be on the bench.
But as I said about running back, when we got transitions against us, he gets back. He's the guy who does the work. You said about running into the box, taking up strikers' positions. He's got better movement in the box than our guy Haaland. How many times last season you see Haaland trying to make a run and you see McTominay time his run perfect and boom, finishes. That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at the positives of a guy who's at our club. I'm not going to be trashing anyone who's at our club. I'm looking at positive. How can we get the best out of this guy? And rather than saying, "Oh, he's got to go," thing. So that's why every manager since Oli and before that has played him. There's a reason.
No, it's because he's an engine.
Yeah,
the engine. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But there was also a couple times where he dropped stink. A couple times, a whole lot of times where the stinkers followed. He's just like he's that player. Like go on and run. Because what's really different between him and Fred?
Fred actually wins the ball back.
That's the one thing I gotta give. That's the only thing right there. He just run. You can't have. It's like in real life. You could work smart instead of work harder. That's Kobe Nato. He just works smart. He knows when to drop, when to move. McTominay has no chill button, bro. It's just straight bomb, straight bomb, straight bomb. But that
Brian,
I think there's more to it, but I understand where he's going with it.
Brian, really quick, yeah. You know what I was saying about the main new thing, yeah? I just want to go back and touch it. Reason why I don't think he should be starting next season is because I feel like, you know, when we actually start our youth, yeah, people don't understand after a long period of time of keep playing them, you know, you're lowering your standards. Because what will happen is instances like, I can't remember what game it was. There was an instance when Manu was in the center of the park. He was trying to be calm, done a half turn. They took the ball from him and we conceded a goal. I don't know if any of you guys remember the match.
Yeah, Aston Villa, I think it was.
Cool.
Yeah.
My thing is this: he's a young player. Mistakes like that is gonna happen, which is fine because you're learning. I understand that. But my thing is, when you're then depending on that player to be starting week in, week out, yeah, you're gonna continue to make excuses that maybe they're a young player, they're still learning. This is why I'm saying personally, I don't think he should be the guy that we're building the team around of. I think the ideology of what we want to go around, he's part of it, but I don't think he should be one of them.
I disagree too, because the problem is with Scott is, and Yaba did say that, every manager played him. Every manager played him because they were desperate in need of that position. Paul Pogba was never healthy. Van de Beek we brought in to probably cover that position was never healthy. So you never had a player that was ever healthy to fit that.
And Herrera.
You always had to. That's what even when Ander was nice, but then when we sold Ander, it was you were stuck with Fred and McTom. It was always Bruno, Fred, McTom, or Juan Mata with that little spark that we had with Juan Mata in the middle. So that's just different. Oh, I'm sorry, that's me.
That's common.
My phone connected to the laptop out of nowhere, but that's the only reason why he got that burn. I just don't think we could at this point just build around him. Yes, he's a workhorse. You put him in the last, maybe if you need a goal cross in, go ahead for me. You know what I mean? But go defend, stand there for me, just get a couple runs. But it's not something that you.
Are you reading that chat about Rooney and Ronaldo? Like, don't do revisionism. When Ronaldo came into this team,
looking for you.
He didn't instantly just walk and dictate and say, I'm starting. That's not how it happens. We had a functioning squad. We had the football ideology and ethos of how we wanted to play, of how the academy prospects got into the first team and how they were integrated with the first team. You didn't just have a short spell in the first team because there was injury spells and we thought you was a really good player. Then the following season, you start. That's not how it works. They had to prove it over a period of time. You lot have seen it on a small time scale. And granted, he looks like a very talented and exciting player. But then to say, go to the Euros, just be starting for United, that's giving too much too soon. Because when they don't fulfill that prophecy, you lots will be the first one to say get rid of them. They're flops. You have to ease them gradually into this. You got to be careful of talented gems. We haven't had them for a while. The last one I can remember of is MG, and I don't want to say his full name, but before that, it's been a very long time. You need to be careful of how you integrate these young players into the first team.
That's fair. That's fair. I wanted to discuss Amad Diallo. I don't know if you've seen it, but United look at it, integrate him as a key player.
I saw that from Samuel Larkhurst reported that.
Yeah, I don't know whether I don't know if it's actually true or not, this story, man. I want to believe it, but then I'm like, Samuel Lucas, he's trying to get on the right side of the United fan base, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if anybody agrees with me.
No, I think it can be true.
Yeah, but he might be toxic, especially with like the Hoyland stuff, where I can't believe he reported that some players don't want to pass the ball to him. That was his report, yeah. That some players are avoiding passing.
Yeah, he was his player,
and he's done other toxic reporting. I always feel like that he's accurate with his stuff. Like, I don't think he might be toxic, but I always feel like there is some truth.
People didn't want to pass the
reporting. My feeling with that report, Saeed, is that I think they leaked that out for whatever reason because they're pulling out of the Elise transfer, and they're not prioritizing another wide player. They're prioritizing other positions: left back, obviously centre back, striker, and midfield. And they're saying, all right, look, we're not going to sign a wide player. We're looking to make Ahmad an integral part of the first team. That was my thinking behind that news that came out.
I think if you look at it from Ineos's perspective, if you just say that reporting is true, right? You have someone like Ahmad who, let's be real, talent-wise was someone that was very exciting when we signed him from Atlanta. Atalanta, and he went on loan, didn't do well in Scotland, but he came to the Championship and he did. I watched him for a number of games. He was crazy. Like his performance level was really, really, really high, and we should have played him more. Obviously, he got injured. And if someone like Wilcox, whose job is to go watch all these young talented players, you're looking at it like, why are we going to spend 60, 65 million on Elise when we have Ahmad, who we haven't even developed yet?
But
Yeah,
here's the catch.
but hold on. So but you look at it and you're like, okay, what's more of a priority, right? We have Ahmad, we have Garnacho that can play right wing, who, in my opinion, actually looks better on the right wing, and you have Rashford, who doesn't have any cover, really, someone to his level. So they've been looking and listen. They might be like, maybe this is what recruitment is. Maybe right wing is not what we need. Maybe we need someone who can play both wings, or so, because Olise is only going to play one position. He's only going to play that right wing. He's not going to play anywhere else.
You can play 10, no?
Not to that level, no. The system he plays at Crystal Palace now is like a double 10, but he's a right winger. That's what his position is.
I know, but you don't. Obviously, I don't want to cut you off on your point. I'm saying I've seen him play in that position before. So I'm saying
he's not a good 10. He's not a good 10. I think you lose a lot of what he offers.
Brian, and we seen it last season, is when the injuries start to happen. We can't play this card. Oh, Garnacho on the right, Garnacho on the left, Rashford on the right, and then but he hates. And then once the turmoil happens, it's he hates playing on the left. Oh, he hates playing on the right, and that's what we're gonna hear. You have to nip that in the butt right away. Nip that in the butt right away, because when the season starts, we're not hearing that excuse anymore. Because if you look at it, Sancho, Anthony, and Ahmad, that's your right.
No, Sancho's gone though. I told you.
Sancho's gonna go. Sancho's gonna be going.
Lee, we know what we're doing with the next man.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
I think Juve or
Anthony's probably gonna catch a loan deal, bro. They can't probably catch a loan deal. It's probably.
I think we need someone flexible, like who can play multiple positions, who's more direct.
Yes.
No, I'm fine with Ahmad. I'm just saying someone that can play that left wing to a high level, can play that right wing to a high level. That gives us more flexibility, because I like Olise, but he's just gonna stick out on that right. He's not gonna.
What about Desire Doué? Is it Desire Doué?
Bro, yes. Give me Pedro Neto, bro. Before I leave,
I can't do it. Sorry, Ozzy. The injuries with Neto is too much. I can't do it, man.
Oh, just give me him, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
I'd rather take Madueke from Chelsea. Honestly.
Actually, that's not a match shout.
I like no, bro. Give me Neto, bro.
Madueke.
That's not a match shout.
I'm telling you.
Well, you don't want to buy Chelsea's whole team.
Oh man.
Stella, next you're going to be saying Mudryk. Let's sign Mudryk.
Let's sign Mudryk.
I'm not concussed. I'm not concussed. Relax. I'm not concussed. With Chelsea, I think they've done such a good in terms of acquisition, in terms of a lot of players. They brought so much talent. It can't all fit their system or what they want going on. So, and they need to obviously make money as well. So I think there's a good chance of doing business with them. In terms of the way they are right now and the way the market is, they need to offload quite a few players, and I think there's deals to be done there. Madueke, I'm telling you, they get Elise, he ain't staying there, because he started to cook towards the end of the season. He's gonna want more game time, so he's a potential to go. Kogo, when he comes back from injury, they've got 3 other centre backs that they purchased.
Just look at that. Pedro Neto, maybe Nico Williams have the direct.
It's in Madueke. I actually think, in terms of dribbling, he's one of the most. He kind of reminds me of what's the Belgium winger for City, where he's just gonna attack you. He's just gonna no, I'm saying like Madueke in terms of his dribbling. He's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going. Well, I think Manchester United fans will actually like that. Olise is a different profile, where he wants to create and where he drifts maybe inside a little bit more and stuff like that. But Madueke, inside, outside, he's a dribbler. But the problem a lot of people had with him, especially when I watched him before he joined Chelsea, was end product. Does he score enough goals? Does he provide enough assists? And funny enough, Poch actually got him to start doing that towards the later half of the season. So for me, I was very surprised that Chelsea are pushing to sign Olise, because I'm like, listen, if you can get someone like Madueke to give you numbers, and you have Palmer playing at the 10, that's a dangerous front line, man. They need a left winger more than a right winger. I don't understand the recruitment.
Ahmad, with Ahmad, when if Ahmad's to hear this news that he could be a mainstay in the squad next season, what a boost for the young man. He's been there. He's had some ups and downs. He's been on loan. He went to Rangers. They just dismissed him. He went to Sunderland in the Championship. He started to get his confidence back. Every time he's played for United, I thought he's been neat, tidy, and I think there's potential there. He just needs to run of games, and then we can make an assessment of him. So the development since he's been at Man United is time with that investment we made and the talent that he's got, that maybe he should have an integral part in the squad next season. And if I was him, I'd be settling down now and being front of the queue, when it comes to all the drills in pre-season. Even if you've got a bucket with you and you're vomiting, show them now you're ready to deliver. Show them personality. I saw an interview with Manu the other day. He said, who wouldn't you want to be stuck in a lift with? And he said, Ahmad. I'm saying, why would you say Ahmad? He said, because he's too enthusiastic. He's got a lot of energy. So let that energy focus on pre-season. Go out there, go and perform, and show the manager you can also trusted to do the job. He's a good wide good wide playmaker. You can see the way he plays his football.
Depends how you use him. Depends how you use him.
With Ahmad, I think it's disrespectful. I think it's disrespectful for people saying that Elise and Ahmad are not on the same level. Like, I'll be honest. If Ahmad went to Crystal Palace, which I wanted him to,
and got to run of games, I don't think we
run of games. I don't think people be talking like this because there's some of the same things.
But they're different profiles, man.
No, they're different profiles.
I think they're similar though.
Set piece specialist. I've seen Ahmad. He's good on dead balls.
Ahmad's not a direct winger. Like for me, Elise is direct in terms of.
I don't think he's direct winger. I think he's an inverted forward. I think he's an inverted forward.
I don't think Elise is as direct as people think he is.
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
what I'm trying to say, Ahmad's purpose is not to be a man, whereas maybe Elise will want to do that.
No, Ahmad is. Ahmad is both.
Ahmad does both. Yeah.
I think Elise is more of a thing where he's deceptively he's not actually a wide player. Most of the stuff that he does when he's on the inside, it's rare that I see him take his opponent on the outside. It's very rare. I hardly see it. He doesn't want to exert that much energy. Whereas Ahmad, he's always looking for integral passing, like the 1-2, the triangle. But if he can't, he's gone. Whereas I don't really see Elise doing the gone. It's more of the intricacy.
We just haven't seen people are really underrating Ahmad. People did you just didn't watch him? I know people don't rate the Championship, but if you watched him in the Championship, you think that United signed a mini I don't know who would be a good description. I don't want to say because I'm gonna get clipped. I'm not gonna say because I'm gonna get clipped up and people are gonna be like, you think Ahmad is messy. No, but the way he was moving was incredible. In terms of what he does, his movement, the way he weaves in and out of players, the way he picks up the ball. In terms of football brain, I think he's at a very high level. Very high level. People say he's slow. He's not slow. He's rapid. He's fast. And the other thing people are not looking at is the relationship building in the squad, where you see the relationship between Ahmad, Manu, Garnacho, Højlund. You want that because when they get on the pitch, things start becoming telepathic. They know where each other are on the pitch. It makes things easier. So for me, Chelsea were getting to that level, but they might have ruined it by bringing someone like Olise in, who's going to want to play his own style. You don't know how he's going to fit with Palmer, and you don't know how he's going to fit with the striker. Relationships are key. There's a reason why, when Manchester United were doing really well in those mid-2000s, the relationships between the players were so good. You just know where everybody is on the pitch.
You know what I worry about? I worry that Ten Hag is not going to be able to get the best out of him. Ten Hag likes his wide fire forwards to be isolated and to beat them. Ahmad is a player that needs other players around that want to
give a go.
Use decoy runs, all those.
Yeah.
But this is why I say
that's why. And
the balance of the team.
The other thing about Ahmad is I love his general demeanor. He's always looks like he's happy. He's got a beautiful smile on his face.
He's African.
I don't want to watch, and I won't name. I don't want to watch footballers that look miserable on the pitch. I don't people go there, they pay their money, they're excited about watching Manchester United. The last thing you want to watch is a miserable looking footballer that doesn't look like what he wants to be out there. Ahmad, for me, I like him. He just, when he's talking and he's just walking around, there's something you just like about him, his general demeanor. He's got an easy way about him. He's got a really easy nature about him. But big concern, can Ten Hag, what are you looking, what are you smirking for, Estella?
Oh no, I'm just reading some of the comments. Some of the comments are crazy. No,
Let me read this quickly.
Yeah,
Blaze says, Man United fans' priority is developing Ahmad. You think Madrid give a toss if Hendrick makes their winning team or not? United should be in all for Elise.
Man United and Real Madrid are not the same clubs, mate. So you need to calm down.
Yeah.
And with the thing about Ahmad here, the reason why
last
I think
comment was interesting. He's similar to Bernardo. I think that's true. I think I agree with that a lot.
Who's similar to Ronaldo?
No, Bernardo Silva. The last comment that Saeed brought up. Ahmad and Bernardo. They have very similar playing styles. That's true.
I just think Ahmad can play along the whole three, so he's very, very versatile. So that's why I think we should keep him as well. It makes sense.
Ball, man.
I think, especially after this injury spell season, I think that's what we're going to be going for. Players that can play multiple positions and that are consistently above a 70 to 65% fitness ratio per season. I think that's what we're going to be going for this season, and I think that's the best thing. Remember when I told you when you don't wanted to get Elise at the first week, I said we have 5 wingers. Why do you think we need to spend this money on him? We still have people like Ahmad, Palestri to come back. Like, I think there's more important positions to be going to. Way more important positions.
I don't think Ten Hag is going to have an issue with him. I think there's a misconception there that Ten Hag doesn't like Ahmad. He wanted to play him a lot, especially during preseason, until he got that injury. I was actually at the game when he got that injury, so I don't think.
In America.
Yeah, I was actually there. So and he was playing pretty well. So
for the last 6 months, he was fit for the last 6 months, and he got like maybe.
But people don't know how recovery works sometimes, where it's like you're trying to throw Ahmad into a very like physical environment where he might still be recovering. He needs fitness, and you want to protect the talent, which, in my opinion, we have not done enough at Manchester United, especially with fitness. Paul Pogba will pick up an injury before you know it, he's back. He picks up like we've done it to Rashford multiple times. We've done it and Ten Hag can afford to maybe do it to a player like Marcus Rashford because he's a senior player. But when you do it to a player like Ahmad, you can see how he eased in Kobe Mainoo as well. One thing I'll give Ten Hag credit for is the way he actually eases in youth players, especially if they get an injury, they get a knock. He's not just going to throw them in and say, hey, play. Like, he's taking more risk with senior players, but with young players, he's like, listen, chill. We need to protect these talents because when you lose that talent, when you lose that momentum as a young player, it's gone. It's gone. It's very hard to get back. So I think Ten Hag will use him when he, especially if someone like Wilcox is saying, listen, you got to play him because, you're not getting another right winger.
We all agree he deserves a run of games. He deserves a chance to be in and around the first team, and we see the best of him then. I'm holding back my judgment. I believe in him. I accept there's something there without the evidence yet, but I just want to see him play because he excites me. Like you say, with all the enthusiasm he has and the desire is to stick around and go from loan to loan, it's his time. Step up, young man, and come and deliver. So I like that news. I like that story. I'm going to go with that, and I would like to see that next season because we'd like it. When you look at the squad, like you're saying, how many Sancho's gone, Martial's gone,
a lot gone, man. It's a lot of forward. Greenwood's gonna go. Obviously,
it's like pass the button, step up.
Palestri as well. He's gonna be gone.
It's not about stepping up though, but people seem to forget. Ahmad is not a youth product, We spent over 30 million euros on him.
Yeah,
like we spent. Let me just read this Fabrizio Romano tweet. Yeah. Before I go to that, big up to Salimani. Thank you very much, mate. He says we're not underrated Ahmad. To us, Ahmad is just Ahmad to us. But for most United fans, they see him as a special player, and that's because of a lack of top tier players at Man United.
That's cap.
No, but I think two things can be right though. Like
I think he's a top talent. I think he's a top talent.
No. I agree with that, but I also think like because we've been so like I don't know what the word is like because we haven't seen enough quality natural footballers. Like Garnacho for me is not a natural footballer. Rashford is not a natural footballer.
Yeah.
Hoyland is a natural footballer. So we see a player that doesn't rely on his pace and is very, very elegant on the ball. We then will say, right, we need to play.
I understand that, but when it comes to Ahmad, I disagree because even when we acquired him, he was linked as towards the Messi. I remember some of his coaches were saying in training or in Syria what he does, no one can get the ball off him. They were likening him to the black Messi. I remember the African little Messi kid when we got him. So all of this stuff about what we haven't seen good players like that. That's what we're overhyping him. I think that's total cap. I actually think he's better than Garnacho, and I think he's technically just gifted. out of all our wingers, I think he's our best winger, if I'm being totally honest. When it comes to how I want my winger to play, he's got a bit of everything. He's got a bit of, I can do the technical, come into feet, be creative, and also be at the same time, be direct. Like, if I want to take my man on, I'm taking my man on. So that's what I like from my wingers anyway.
Fabrizio Romano, I don't know if he's just trying to promote his YouTube channel, but he's just basically said Man United asked for info on Joshua Zirkzee salary, commissions, release clause details last week. AC Milan still have an agreement with Zirkzee on contract, planning to pay 40 million release clause, but deals depends on commissions. So it looks like we're just kind of almost like waiting for AC Milan to fold, and then
I think the agent at this point has moved on from AC Milan. I think he's looking to do a deal with United because they don't want to pay him. It's that simple. They don't want to pay the man the money, so you can't force them to. Unless AC Milan do a U-turn and are like, we're going to give you the 12 million you're asking for, or some form of high payment, he's not going to go to AC Milan. He might not go to United, he might go elsewhere. But AC Milan, at this point, they need to pay that money.
I hope that's the case, because I don't want a young. I'll be honest, I don't want a young striker. I think we need a season. I can't take next season on a gamble of like somebody coming to the league and adjusting. Just go for Tony. I think, especially with everything going on, I believe you can get it for 40 to 50 million, or you could potentially do like a swap deal, or if they want to acquire one of our players, we do some kind of business that way. But I think Tony is the guy to go for. I don't see what the whole beating around the bush is for. Like, he's the guy.
It's true. A couple of weeks ago on the show, didn't Saeed fling up the 5 rules or criteria about signing a player? There's something to do with under 25s as well. If that's true, then Tony, we can eliminate that regardless of the thing. But I do think, I do.
So just not to cut you off here, but I just wanted to make a point real quick. It's also possible that United are looking at it like he has a year left on his contract.
Yeah,
he has a year left, and next season he's free. Yeah. So why would you give them at least minimum they're going to ask for is 30 to 40 million pounds at the minimum? That's another thing that Ineos could be looking at. Like, listen.
My point about Tony, which I'm not sure, I'm just speculating here. For a guy who's come through, he's at Newcastle, Peterborough, all these clubs. Is there something inside football where they say, don't touch him with a barge pole because he's on 25 grand a week at Brentford, or 35, whatever it was Saeed put up, and still not getting no love or getting no big signings, to a bigger club? I don't know. Is there something, has he got a reputation to say, don't touch that guy, he's not good for the balance of the squad, or he's a bad apple or something like that? That's the only reason I can consider, because he's scoring goals. If you consistently score goals in the Premier League, you got something about you. But for him not to get a move to Arsenal, one of these bigger top 6 clubs, I'm just surprised. And the wages, wow. I thought he would have been begging his agent to get a move going.
Do you know, I'm not surprised, Ange, because because it happens a lot with good players like this. I remember Dembele for Fulham, the centre mid, when he went from Fulham to Tottenham. I was thinking he was cold at Fulham. Like, why did nobody want to acquire him? Why is nobody in for him? Why did United not get linked to him?
Bro, that was a signing,
That was crazy, innit? Only Tottenham went for him. Sometimes these things happen where some players are ready to make the next step, but for whatever reason, it just don't work out. My thing is, right now with Tony, other than this gambling situation, he's worked his way up from basically conference, like non-league football, all the way up to Premier League football. I haven't heard a bad word about him until recent of this gambling thing. My thing is, he's not a bad apple, yeah. What I care about is scoring goals and not making drama. At his tenure at Brentford, the only times I've ever heard bad things about Tony is the gambling, and when he was on holiday and he told Brentford fans to F off. Other than that, he's a consistent goal scorer, bagsman. He walks, he does the walking. He does the talking on the pitch.
Didn't he say something to undermine Brentford? Not swearing at a fan.
What was it? Sorry.
Didn't he say something to undermine Brentford?
Yeah, a girl said F Brentford fans, and he repeated it, and then it got
he basically just repeated it, man.
But my thing is this: compared to what our players are like, he's an angel. My thing is this: I'm getting guaranteed goals, a guaranteed character in the dressing room, which I know. When times get tough, they're not going to be hiding and saying they got injuries. He's going to step on the pitch and put on a shirt. So these are the type of players that I want to come into my club. I don't want maybe 34 million because he's 23. We can see the development. This is a rebuild. This is not going to be a long term. I need to see short term wins. Like, I'm not looking that far ahead where I'm going to be depending on how old is Hoyland? 21-year-old and the 23-year-old to be like, oh, they're young, let's give them time. It has to be infused. There needs to be some kind of synergy with what's going on with the club's vision. That doesn't make any sense. You're going to keep saying, let's just do a Chelsea. Let's go sweep up all the youthful talent in Europe. Let's be realistic.
Okay.
That's the thing, is just the contract as well. The last contract packs is huge. Like, the team is looking at it like, why we can just pick him up next season on a free. Why spend that 30, 40 or even more to get him now?
It seems like we've come full circle with this discussion about Tony and the Dutch guy at Bologna. So for me, after listening to all you guys, I still think we should go for the Dutch guy because he fits our criteria. And I need to look at him closely. But he makes such good points, Strella, about Tony that I'm actually almost getting my head turned about, maybe.
For me, Cunha will be the best of both worlds, where you have Premier League experience, you have someone that will just come in and he do everything you want right from the get-go. But I can understand.
Cunha, you don't get the same. When I say experience, I don't think he has the same experience as Tony, because yes, Cunha is Premier League proven. But my thing is this: it's like the Jude Bellingham thing. When you work your way through up the English system of football, it gives you a different sense of like hunger, fight, desire. So what it gives you a certain level of appreciation because you haven't just come straight into this. You've had to work your way all the way up through the different English system leagues to get to the Prem. And every big moment he goes to, they say something about him, he scores a goal. They say he can't do this, he breaks a goal scoring record. Whereas Cunha, you've just been a good player in the Premier League. I want a good player plus that mentality to come in, because there's not enough of that at United. And that's going to be a steal at 50 million. Everyone keeps arguing with me and saying, or in the chat saying, he's going to cost northwards of 50. People need to forget, as much as what Brentford want for him, you've got to be realistic. That gambling charge is like a real charge over his head. So regardless, it's like having, watch this, it's like going Copart and buying your dream car. Say you want to buy a G-Wagon, it's fine. But when you come to now want to sell it, it's still a G-Wagon, but it's a cat car. Because it's a cat car now, you can't sell it over a certain limit. And that's what Ivan Toney is. He's a cat football player. There's got something attached to his name. So I know when it comes to terms of people being interested in him, we can't get overpriced for him ridiculously because there's something next to him. So that's why I think it's an easy deal to get done.
All right. You're muted.
Have you guys seen the fixtures, by the way? What did you make of the opening fixtures?
Liverpool, let's take them. Clockless Liverpool. I want that. Yes. Bring it on.
Oh man.
Bring it on.
Fulham, Brighton, Liverpool.
It's nice. It looks nice.
At this point, the Premier League is so like tough. Honestly, for me, it doesn't really matter. It's like,
it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't really matter. Like, you might as well play Manchester City on the opening day. It doesn't matter because the league is just that tough. You're going to play these teams at some point. Yes, the way fixtures fall can maybe be of a slight advantage in certain things like running and whatnot. But for me, I'm not worried. In terms of what we need to do is the recruitment before the league starts. I don't even like looking at the fixtures until after the transfer window. Let's get the transfer window done first. Sign the players we need to sign. Have a good preseason. Then I know what kind of energy I'm taking into the season. Am I going to be excited? Am I going to be saying, oh my goodness, we're lining up with Maguire starting at centre back again when we've had him and wanted to replace him for a while? Not calling him out. I'm just saying, stuff like that. Like, we're going to have holes in the squad. I don't want to go into the season feeling like that. I want to look at the team and look at it like, listen, Man United, on any day we can beat anybody and we're going to be consistent as well. That's what I'm looking for going into the season. So the transfer window for me is huge. We need at minimum 5 players. 5 players into the squad. Then I can be like, okay.
You know what's going to be interesting? If we don't start well, Ten Hag's going to be under pressure straight away.
Bro,
like he needs
to play with swag as well. Swagger, man. Swagger as well.
I'm going to be calling for his sacking after 2 games. After 2 games, I'm going to be screaming that he needs to go.
Yeah, you should win.
Honestly, Ange. Honestly, I'm not even going to do that. I think it's pointless, especially with Ineos now, to worry about calling for a manager sacking, because I think they will get him gone if he's not going to do well. Like, they will get him gone. Exit stage right.
Do you still believe in the Southgate waiting? Do you still believe in
that?
I
don't know.
No.
I think if you're Ten Hag and you're looking at the fixture list, you're going to think, all right, with the pressure that's going to be on you, because everyone's going to be like,
yeah.
I think the fixtures look quite reasonable. You could have, like you said, you say it doesn't matter if you had Man City and all the big clubs early on. It does matter, in my opinion. You got Fulham at home, first game. I can't remember the other games, but Liverpool on the 31st, we will be up for. We're always up for that game. I think Crystal Palace away, maybe they sell off all their players. They'll be easy pickings. So I think it's a good fixture list. Southampton just been promoted. I think it's a good fixture list, and it's good start for the season. Would be great for Ten Hag to get that momentum. He's going to have a whole pre-season with them. Hopefully, we're not. Are you guys going on tour? You're in America, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been the LA
Right,
one.
you're going out to America,
The
aren't
LA.
you?
Yeah, the LA.
Yeah. Too expensive for me, man. I already spent damn near $600 going for the last one last season. So,
do you think going on tour to America? Because a lot of people have said, "Oh no, it's a waste of time. We're not preparing ourselves properly." Is it?
That's fine. I don't think the tour is an issue. I think the biggest problem we had this season was we trained a team to play Ten Hag's system that has never played this system before. So the fitness requirements and the amount of intensity that was done, I think we've probably even trained harder during the training than actually during the matches during the preseason. So it was pretty brutal. That's what ended up killing our squad during the whole season, because we had to up the fitness levels. So I'm hoping this season there will be a benefit of that we see it, that we see a fitter team, we see less injuries, and during the tour we see a team that starts right from the get-go. Everyone is on point. They know what to do. They have the energy. This is not a shock to their system. I don't want to see a team that cannot press anymore. As a Manchester United fan, I'm tired of it. There shouldn't be any excuse. They've had a whole season to adjust to this kind of pressing that Ten Hag wants. So that's the kind of stuff I'll be looking for.
Make sure you turn down the temperature in America, because Omar was saying it's 100 degrees in New York. Imagine what it would be like in LA. I don't know. You won't be wearing a tracksuit, Saeed, if you go to LA like that, bro.
At least we got air conditioners over here, so we'll be okay.
Yeah, in the stadium, innit, as well. They have it in the stadium as well, so it's quite nice, man. But like I said, you have to have a strong start and then go from there. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have a strong start, boy, that's when you're gonna get.
But real quick, outside of this, have you registered to vote really quickly?
This is politics, man.
I just want to know.
Two wings of the same bird. Me not vote, man. Never vote in my life.
My people, man, come on, Yabs.
Come on, listen. Politics.
I only registered because I think you don't get fined if you don't register or something.
No, it helps your credit score if you register. Like it's good.
Bro,
no, but your part society, hey, Saeed, you're doing the right thing, man, making a change. Be part
listen, I'm registered to vote, but listen, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, look at Brian's president. I mean, look at the kind of people. We had Boris Johnson. Look at Brian's president right now. I mean, come on, man. Are we taking these guys serious? No. Let's focus on football, man. It's a bit more credible character.
Hey, you want to make decisions about United? We can't change anything. At least try to change something about your society, man. Be involved. You get me?
We don't. It's a false thing to say that we have a vote or we can make a difference. We can't really make a difference. We as fans, I don't know. We fans, we think we can make a difference by going to the stadium and waving a white flag for a manager and all that. I don't think really we have a say. Even in football these days, about making decisions. It's not down to the people anymore. It's down to the people upstairs. There's a hierarchy of power, isn't there, in government and in football as well. And I don't think fans have that say anymore. We can sit here, Saeed, with the numbers he gets, he can voice his opinion. I don't think it's going to have that much influence with the boards. They're not really going to say, okay, we're under pressure here. Saeed's channel are going off about Maguire and we need to get rid of it. It means nothing. And the same applies to politics.
You'd be surprised.
And it's a full sense of change or whatever that we believe we can do, make a change or make a difference. I love talking football. I love the game of football. But I don't worship my idols, or I don't follow no people like that. I don't think they're just footballers. I love the sport. I play the sport. I manage myself and all this kind of thing. I just enjoy it. But once you start getting tribal and believing you can make a change or make a difference, that's the trapping, I believe, that you get caught in.
Yeah, 100%. Now, listen, man, it's been a good show, man, guys. Make sure you don't like the video.
I'm ready to go out before midnight.
You got 10 minutes, guys. Please like the video. I don't know how many likes we're currently on right now as it stands. I'm just going to quickly check the likes on the video. Yeah, 428. Get them likes up to at least 500 on your way out, man. Big up Elite Pundit. Thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, definitely, man. I always want to do the show. Hopefully soon we hear like an on-steam bomber that, Zirkzee release clause has been paid. That'll be fantastic.
There you go, man. Big up Yabba. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. I can't wait to see the vlogs from Brian and Saeed from the United States of America. And that'll be interesting. But yeah, big up everyone for tuning in. And so make sure you support the channel, press the like button, and big up everybody in the community.
Yeah, man. Big up Ange, man. How are you? Big up to you. Make sure you like the video. But yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man, Ange.
No problem. Thanks, Saeed, man. Good show.
Good show, man. And Strella, man. Big up to you, man.
Good show, lads, man. Big up. Smash the like button.
Come on, man. Big up.
Register to vote.
Smash the likes for Saeed's voice. Smash the likes for Saeed's voice. He's lost his voice.
Man.
So.
I can't lie, man. It's one of them, man. That Turkey game killed me, man. That Turkey game, man. I swear down, bro. It was a sensational game. But yeah, big up Staffy. We're gonna redirect to Staffy, man. I think he's live anyway, so make sure you go over to Staffy TV, hit the like button on his show, and yeah, I'll be in the comments, man. Love, we're out.